Hi, my name is Billy and welcome to the Act Web API video series. Today I'm going to show you how to take a Facebook lead ad and take the data from that and automatically push that into your Act contact list without any intervention on your part. We're going to use Zapier to make the connection between these two services seamless. Straight from the Zapier website, I'm just going to click here and we're going to take a Facebook lead ad and an Act database and make them talk to each other. All things in Zapier happen based off of a trigger, and then there's an action. So when a new lead happens, we will find or create a contact. This is how we start every Zap. You pick two programs, you pick a trigger, and you pick an action. Let's go use this Zap and see what we can make happen together. Now there are a couple of things that I've already set up. I already have a Facebook lead ad on my account. I've also customized my Act database to have a survey answer field, and for a later video, I have a Twitter handle field. So now I'm going to sign into my Facebook lead ads account so that I can start pulling data down. Now I will choose my account and click continue. Now it automatically pulled that information because I was still logged into my Facebook lead ads account, so it's important that you log in first to make this even easier. Now let's set up the trigger. All Facebook lead ads have multiple pages, so we're going to select that page. I've blurred out the names here at request of my clients. By default, it selects any form, but if you have multiple lead forms, you'll be able to select the one that you want to pull from. I am going to select a lead form because I added in a specific question, and that question was, what kind of games do you like? I want to make sure that that gets pulled in because that's not going to be available on every form that I put out through Facebook. And then I'll click continue to finish the trigger section. Each section in Zapier requires a bit of a test, so we're going to go ahead and test this trigger. And here we go. It says we found a lead. Now Facebook was nice enough to go ahead and put dummy data in for every one of their new Facebook lead ads so that you can make these types of API connections. Here in this dropdown, you could actually select multiple leads if you already had data in here, but since I don't, we're just going to stick with lead A. This is really just an example so that you can make sure that all the data that you wanted were coming in. We'll click continue to finish the trigger section. Now it comes to the action. So we need to choose the app, which we already have, and we need to choose the event. So the event here is going to be at the very bottom of the list, which is find or create contact. And we'll click continue. Now it wants us to sign into Act. And I'm using Act Connect link, so I will have some information that I need to fill out that comes from my Act database. So let's go take a look. In my Act database, the very top left corner in the title bar, I'll see the database name, and in the bottom right hand corner, I'll see who I'm logged in as. So I will be logging in as Chris Huffman out of the Act 2020 demo. Zapier requires a password for all Act accounts. Though Act allows for a blank password, you must add a password to the database before you can continue. The database name was Act 2020 Demo. And for URL, this can actually be pulled from Act Connect link or from your administrator. I'm going to copy my Act Connect link URL since that's what I'm using. And you'll notice that they preceded this text box with HTTPS. That's because a secure connection is required. So when I paste this URL in, I'm just going to remove the HTTPS that was already in the front of that so that I don't end up putting in a bad URL. Click yes to continue, and when it's finished, this window will go away. I'll head back over to Zapier now, and I'll be able to select that account. So there it is, Act. It's not currently used in any apps, and we just created it. And we'll click continue to start this action process. Now, since the action was find or create a contact, we're going to select the field to search by. And in this case, I'm going to search for contact. And then it says value to search by, and so it'll check the contact for whatever value we put here, and if that contact exists, this search option will be complete. And the value I'm going to search on is actually going to be from that Facebook lead ad. I don't see any names here, so I'm going to click show all options, and you'll see all of the data that Facebook pulls every single time someone fills out one of their lead forms. For now, I'm just going to select full name. Now, if that contact doesn't exist, we do want to create it. So we're going to hit this box and the page is going to refresh. And this is because it's just loaded all of the fields from my ACT database so that I can start plugging in information. Now, since I'm very fastidious with my data in ACT, I've made sure to always use this ID status and this referred by field. As you can see, I've already got a Facebook lead here. I want to make sure that I put the same ID status and referred by for every contact that is created or updated. So for the ID status, I'll put in Facebook lead. And for the referred by, I'll put in Facebook lead ad. For the first name, I don't actually have the option of just selecting this first name, so I'm going to put the full name on there. This is one of the limitations when you're trying to get two different systems to talk to each other. The ACT system wants to separate it by first name and last name, whereas Facebook doesn't allow you to do that. This should work perfectly fine for what we're doing, as ACT will properly parse out the first and last name based off of a full name determination here. A little further down for email, let's see if Facebook gives us the email, and it looks like they do. So we'll select that. Now during this process, I also created that question of what kind of games do you like? And in ACT, we created that survey answer 1 field. So we do want to pull that information into all contacts that are updated or created. So I'll click here in the survey answer 1, show all options. And if I scroll down, I'm going to see that what type of games do you like to play? Now you'll see two different types. There is a raw data version and there's a regular version. I strongly suggest you use the regular version unless the raw data has information in it that you need. Then that's going to depend from connection to connection. For now, we're going to keep it simple and just select the one that does not say raw. And now we will scroll all the way to the bottom and click continue. Just like when we were setting up the trigger, the last action is to create a test. So as you see here, it's already got some information that it's trying to pull in. It'll show you the items that you've selected, for instance, like Facebook lead and Facebook lead ad into the ID status and referred by field. It'll show the name that it's bringing in. It'll show the email and the survey answer. And again, this is simply dummy data that was created by Facebook to make sure that API connections like this would have some data to start off with. We'll hit test and continue. There's nothing further for us to do. As you can see right here, the green check mark has appeared. And the only thing we have left to do is turn the Zap on. Now, whenever you turn on a Zap, by default, it does give you the option to share that Zap with other colleagues in case they want to do it with their own Facebook account or their own ACT database. And my Zap is on. Now, any new Facebook lead ad is going to come into my ACT database. Earlier on in my testing, I did the exact same thing, and this is the same dummy data that was put in whenever Facebook created that lead ad previously. It looks like everything is working and in order. Now, once my Facebook lead ad is approved and is sent out to people across the internet, and they fill out that information that was there and answer my question of what kind of games they like, that information will get turned into a lead and passed into my ACT database. My survey answer 1 will be filled out, and it's going to deduplicate based off of that contact first name and last name. Still on the fence on whether or not you should use the API? Let's try out a free product to connect to your database today. Handheld Contact Lite lets you access your contacts, send them important emails and SMS messages, and even map out their locations easily. You cannot beat the price of $0. This is available on iOS and Android, and is a great way to see how well the API performs with your live data. Head over to handheldcontact.com for more details.